Hello and welcome to Footy Judge More people. Hit that like button if you just joined us. Welcome to everybody that joined us from LB stream. He was streaming with Nobbins, of course. So hit that like button if you're just here. Subscribe to the channel for more content, of course. Check the content out. But we're here to talk about Ange Postecoglou. Is he actually exposing other managers and all the processes, phases? Give him time, give this guy time, give that guy money, and give this guy signings and all the stuff that they're talking about. And also, Kevin De Bruyne is back, and the talk is he the best midfielder that the Premier League has ever seen? Is he better than Mohamed Salah in the last 5, 6 years? Who can lead their team to actually win the Premier League this season? Can Man City do the four-peat and put their foot on the table as the second best team ever in the Premier League, or the third, or something like this, bypass other teams? You know who I'm talking about, of course. 4P to the 4P. But I'm here with Nobbins, of course, and Tom, and I'm hope that they are good. How are you guys feeling? Everybody's good? Happy?
I'm good. I'm happy. I'm well fed. And yeah, a team won in the 90th minute. That's nice. Now I know how Liverpool and Arsenal felt this season. Finally, I get a 90th minute winning.
When did Arsenal do it? Oh,
against
Luton.
Luton.
Sorry, their big night out at Luton. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Respect Luton Town.
But they're a good
So
start.
yeah. So now I'm a happy boy. So yeah, it's all good.
I hate Newcastle. That's all I need to say on the weekend. I hate Newcastle.
That's outrageous.
Couldn't just hold on, could they? Kieran Trippier twerking again for another for another winger. You know, like what are we doing here? 6 weeks, 6 mistakes.
Kevin De Bruyne effect. What do you want?
Kevin De Bruyne is very good. Kevin De Bruyne doesn't make Kieran Trippier allow Mikhailo Mudryk, Dwight McNeil, and Oscar Bob to dunk on his head 3 times in a row. Come on.
Yeah.
But if that was Trent, all I'll say is if that was Trent, Neville will be done on a kit again in the Sky Sports studio to show him how to defend.
So you guys want to start there. So let me tell you how I thought about it. And we want to start with the positives or the negatives, because Tom mentioned Kyle Walker. I'm not sure.
Oh, God.
I didn't even mention Kyle Walker. I mean, I'll happily mention him because he was just as bad.
He was worse. Deary me.
So by the way,
he took out his own player.
Why he's
he took
not
out his own player? For one, Kyle. Big Kyle, he's been in the news anyway, so he needed a good game. Took out his own player in the first 5 minutes. Then was span inside out for the same goal twice over.
That's impressive, isn't it? You'd think after the first time it happened, you go, right, I'm going to switch on and make sure it doesn't happen again. Oh, I've accidentally shown him on his strong foot again and given him that much space. Oh, that's weird. Oh, feeling cute, might do it again. I don't know.
Like he got an assist, which he doesn't really get, and then he undone all that hard work by letting Anthony Gordon just turn him inside.
Let's be honest, he did good for the City's first goal, but let's be honest, Bernardo's finish is doing a lot of the heavy lifting in that goal. Let's all be real.
And the fact that Dan Burn is just nowhere to be seen.
No, he can't do anything about it. See, this is like...
What do you mean he can't do anything about it? Dan Burn could be where the left back's supposed to be.
That's what we call bias in football. And instead of praising the genius of Bernardo Silva, you want to put it as someone else made a mistake. Not every goal has to be a mistake. The cross wasn't great. Bernardo Silva put his body in the right place to shield the ball to his right side and the defender on his left, and backheeled it into the far post. There is nothing no defender can do. It's as simple as that.
I'm not saying that you should stop the back heel. I'm saying that Dan Burn should have been out to Kyle Walker, but instead Dan Burn was playing like a centre-back. So Kyle Walker had the freedom of Tynecastle on that right-hand side, and he still couldn't put on a very good cross. But that's do all the way. So, look,
the goal was a mistake.
The goal was very good. The goal was a very good finish from Bernardo Silva.
So was it a mistake or wasn't?
Bernardo Silva's doing all the hard work in that goal.
All right. Yeah. And I don't know. Listen, for Kyle Walker to make a mistake like this here and there, I don't think it matters as much, because I actually think the problem with Man City isn't individual. They defend with individuals, and I spoke about this yesterday. They concede a lot of goals to their liking, and I'm sure that Pep Guardiola isn't happy about it. but they are winning the games. You cannot just concede 1 or 2 goals every game. I'm not sure when was the last time that City kept like multiple clean sheets in a row. I actually don't know. But listen, the only talk is Kevin De Bruyne, right? Oscar Bob came in. The only talk is Kevin De Bruyne and how effective he is and how can he change this team. And Nobbins did a video about Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden playing together and all this stuff. But it's not only, I think it's not only about Kevin De Bruyne. I think it's about the fluidity that City played with yesterday. Sorry, the other day, Saturday. It's about allowing players finally to have the freedom. Like Doku didn't have to hug the line the whole game. Foden, Bernardo Silva were very fluid. Kovacic as well. Rodri, Diaz, the defenders. I think this is positive from Man City. I don't know how you saw this, Nobbins.
Yeah, I thought that it was a very good game from City. I thought that 3-2 was a very generous scoreline to Newcastle, to be honest. There was like that 5-minute period where, and even like at the end of the first half where we were a bit all over the place. But outside of that, it was like almost total domination, really. And I don't think that was a case of Newcastle allowing us to do that. They clearly didn't want to be in those positions. On another day with better finishing, as I say, we score numerous goals and we kill that game very early on. As I say, there was just a really hectic sort of like 5 to 15 minute period in the first half. De Bruyne came on. I'm sure about to discuss De Bruyne at length. Foden didn't really play midfield together. Sometimes De Bruyne was on the right. Sometimes Foden was on the right. So there was a lot of interchanging therein. Newcastle didn't really know what to do. They didn't know where to mark. And if you give De Bruyne any amount of space, whether it's for a pass across or a shot, he's probably going to do well with it. And as Tom Little now knows, Kevin De Bruyne's long shot record in the Premier League is incredibly impressive. You shouldn't really be giving him that much space. And the ball for the Bob goal is fantastic. Me and LB were talking about it before. Bob probably doesn't make that run if De Bruyne's not even on the pitch. He doesn't make that little movement if De Bruyne's not on the pitch, but he does make it because he knows that De Bruyne is good enough to find him. And that's hopefully what we'll see as we continue through the season, that different players will make more runs and different movements and runs, because again, they know that if De Bruyne's on the ball, he's going to not only be able to see that pass, but execute that pass as well. So yeah, De Bruyne coming back, assuming he is stays fit, obviously injury aside, it solves a lot of issues that the City have experienced this season.
No, like, listen, Kevin De Bruyne is fantastic, and I think he can win you everything. My issue with Kevin De Bruyne is that he has to stay fit for a long time, and he's now coming back from an injury. Now, let me praise the medical department, because he looked like he didn't care about the injury. Came on running, doing everything he can, and super fit. If he stays fit, I think it's going to be long for everybody else. Everyone else in the league. Yes, Mohamed Salah is there, Liverpool and everything, but I think Kevin De Bruyne makes it long for everyone else. Well, can you did a video about, can you fit everybody there? I think Foden will have to play to the side, because Kovacic and Rodri, they have to play in the middle, because you still can't keep a clean sheet. You kept 1 clean sheet in the last 10 Premier League games against Sheffield United. That's the only clean sheet you kept. But
does that even count then? Let's be real. Does that even count then? Are we counting?
Respect the mighty blades. Respect them. Also respect Urawa Reds or whatever that Japanese team was.
So I'm not counting you playing in the Huddersfield Town, or I'm just counting the games in the Premier League. I'm not counting you playing Urawa Red or whatever, right? I'm just counting the Premier League. Last 10 games, 1 clean sheet. That's what I mean. But listen, again, if you outscore your opponent, you're fine, because we praise Liverpool for it, don't we? We say Liverpool concede chances, but they outscore the opponent. So I think City can live with that.
Defense.
Yeah, but you concede a lot of chances.
Yeah, but we've got the best defense in the league, so it's not like a bad thing. Again, you play to the strengths of your team.
Isn't this something that you said in the beginning of the season, that we outscored the opponent?
Yeah, you have to outscore your opponents to win games. I said it in jest, because everyone was going, "Oh, well, your defensive crap." I go, "Yeah, well, be outscoring enough opponents, but our defense is good. I don't
because you fell behind in the beginning of the season. Lately, you have been solid more, but in the beginning of the season, you were always falling behind, or not always, in some games.
We still do,
right? So that means you're falling behind and outscoring the opponent.
But that doesn't mean our defense isn't good.
So that means why is City defense? City conceded 5 goals. So why is City defense bad and you're because you are the best defense in the league?
Well, yeah,
but you fall behind.
Again,
I'm just trying to understand the logic here.
So you can concede a goal and still be a good defense.
All right then. So are City good defense because they concede a goal?
City are normally good defense. I think Nobbins will back this up. I don't think they've been as good as they normally are this season, though. I think they've been gettable.
I will say that a bad City defense is still better than most defenses in the league. That is what I would say to that.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be better than one team, which is Liverpool.
He's not even including Arsenal now. He's not even including Arsenal. Last week it was all Arsenal still in this. Now he's not even including Arsenal.
You don't necessarily need to be better defensively, but yeah, you need to be better overall, sure. But you don't necessarily need to be better defensively.
No, for a number of years where they beat us, we were the best defensive team in the league in terms of goals conceded and clean sheets. But they would just batter teams 6-0 and we'd beat them 2-1. So goal difference, it'd swing that way. So I think for us, having a good defence this year is important because of the overhaul in the midfield. You need a strong base to allow for bedding in periods further up the pitch, and that's what we've got. With City, they needed, I feel, and it's going to happen now because KDB's back and Haaland's probably on his way back, a strong attack to ensure that defence that has got Gvardiol in that midfield that's had a big change in the summer could gel together. And I feel at points this season that hasn't been firing in the same way that at points this season. Our defence has had a couple, off games. We've got red cards and stuff. The big worry for me is if Kevin De Bruyne stays fit now, we have to be near faultless. It's stupid to say City will go on and win 17 games. They're good, but they're not that good. But City
he said
will
it,
be very
guys.
good.
He said it. He's going to jinx it. It's going to happen now.
Lad, if you do that...
Just to be honest with you, City might win every game until they face Liverpool at Anfield in 7-game time.
Well, yeah, because they play no one good.
So that's a lot. How many games are left? 18 games for City. 6 games is third of that. Can you imagine if City, before facing Liverpool, just win third of the games left? Just out of the way, third of the games left. Right?
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Let's will it into reality, everyone. Come on. Everyone in the chat, come on.
There's probably a run we've got this season where I can go, we'll win 6 games in a row.
They have Burnley, Brentford, Everton.
Brentford. Oh, little bogey team, Brentford.
And then Chelsea.
Ivan Toney back as well. You want some?
And then Brentford again, and then Bournemouth, Man United at home, then Liverpool away. Now they have a run of games after this that is a little bit, we can say, tough. Liverpool away, Brighton away, Arsenal at home, which is not tough, and Aston Villa at home, which is supposedly not tough. So let me do this. Ryan, thank you so much. Everybody that's sending super chat, you're supporting the channel, of course. Absolutely fantastic. As we said before, the super chats are a good way to support the channel and keep us going. Of course, it's worth way more than views. So thank you so much, and you get you involved in the conversation as well. We try to show the members. We try to show the super chats, of course, but we appreciate the support. Ryan is saying KDB is back, is huge, but he doesn't solve their main issue, which is defensively, which is what we're talking about. Diaz is having a poor season, but he isn't Virgil van Dijk, so he ain't spoken about. Do you believe that?
I don't agree Diaz is having a poor season. I think that Diaz has made a couple of relatively high-profile errors in some games which most people would have tuned into, for example, the Chelsea game. But in terms of his overall performances this season, yeah, he's not been up to his high standards, which he's set for himself. Like the past 3 years, he has been, playing at a, borderline world-class standard, whatever. So yeah, it's a decrease compared to what we're used to seeing from him. But he's not been bad. But from an individual perspective, like in a vacuum, he hasn't been bad. He's just not performed relative to his high standards. And to be honest, I think I disagree with the first part as well, because De Bruyne coming back does fix a lot of City's defensive issues, to be honest. It doesn't fix the fact that, it's not going to fix the fact that Walker keeps making individual errors, sure. However, from a system perspective and a risk assessment perspective of knowing when to give away the ball and when to, try, like a really tricky cross or a really tricky pass, no one's better in the business at that than De Bruyne. So from a counter-attack perspective, we're actually going to lose the ball less, or rather we're going to lose the ball less in dangerous positions because De Bruyne's going to be on the pitch. So therefore, we're going to suffer less dangerous counterattacks, and transition is like City's biggest weakness. So actually, it technically does help our defense from a system perspective.
It means you sustain your attacks and your pressure on teams is sustained better because De Bruyne just makes correct decisions.
Yeah,
which
the best defense is to have the ball.
Didn't do. I don't think City have ever had a rock solid defense like what Chelsea's was. Where it was just genuinely you could attack for 90 minutes and you won't score. I've always felt that City's defense, if you were to sustain pressure on them, will eventually concede. But they did not allow you to sustain pressure. That was the big difference. Whereas without De Bruyne this season, I think there have been spells in games where teams were able to sustain pressure on you and your defense started to struggle. It all comes down to, do your key players stay fit? And the one thing that I don't like to say is, City could win the next 6 Premier League games, but we've got to factor in there's going to be cup games that fall in that point, Champions League games that are going to come into effect. It's not just 18 games from now on. I'm sure Manchester City would want to retain that Champions League that they won last year. I'm sure that'd be a big priority for Pep. Maybe he wants to go far in the FA Cup, try and do another treble, retain the treble. That'd be ridiculous. There's other competitions that are going to draw focus, so it's not just 18 games. And it's the same that applies with us. We got Europa League, we got the FA Cup as well, we've got Carabao Cup as well. Hopefully there'll be a final in that, at the end of Feb, probably just before we end up playing each other in March. So it's very hard to predict how this title is going to go because you don't know how the squads are going to look because of these extra games. With that being the case, I think the management of both De Bruyne and Rodri is what's going to decide this title. Because if De Bruyne stays fit, attacking wise, it's ridiculous. If Rodri was to go down, does De Bruyne just fix those problems anyway? Is De Bruyne the key, or is it just all focus should be on protecting Rodri? Because it's still, I mean, you'll know best than I will. Is it true that they've got, that they're still not won a game this season without Rodri?
Yep. I think that's correct.
Which is a bit mad. Because it's not like you've only played one game and it's like a minuscule stat. It's like 4 or 5 now, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
So that's got to be a concern for City. Same way that with us, if we were to lose Alisson for an extended period, then we have to play Kelleher in goal, we'd have problems as well. I just think with the severity of the Rodri stuff at this point, that is got away on mind. I think it's very hard to predict how this title is going to go. I really do, because there's a lot of players that... I liked what Pep said, actually. I liked what Pep said on his post-match. I don't really watch Pep's post-match because I think he's a bit of a boring man. But I liked what he said when he said, the manager only does tactics up until the final third, and the final third is all about quality. You can't teach a team how to score goals. Effectively, you can't just have...
For Pep, you can. For Pep, you can.
No,
you do remember that far post cross behind everybody and the late run that they used to do, and they did it like 50 times in one season when they scored the same exact goal every time.
That is down to quality. That is down to quality.
No, so they have the quality, but it's all down to practice, coaching, who's running, how people are running, where are they going. I think Pep
said that a manager can coach a defense and a manager can coach build up into the midfield, but a manager can't coach the final third, how teams attack in the final third. That is down to quality.
He's lying, so people won't do it.
No, because
he's lying, so people won't do it.
Like 4D chess.
Yeah,
he's not, because I look at a team that have tried to coach how to play in the final third this year, Arsenal, and they look toothless, and they have done all season. And I've been saying Arteta's tried to do too much in that final third this year. Pep, without De Bruyne, I felt at points was trying to do that. Hence the whole Alvarez into attacking mid so he could have the same runs and this, that, and the other. Now that he's got De Bruyne back, he can just go, let Kevin sort it. And they looked a lot more fluid in the attack, I thought. I thought Foden also looked so dangerous receiving that ball in midfield, receiving the ball on his head and driving forward. It's terrifying. And you add Haaland back into that.
It's another high touch game for him as well.
Let me do the other. So I'm gonna. Ryan is saying need to focus on our results other than City dropping points. We have shown that we can also go on big runs. Having the game at Anfield this time is huge. Yes, I agree with Ryan. Ryan, absolutely 100%. This game at Anfield might win you the league. It's what I call a title decider as well at this time. Liverpool, they have to win, in my opinion. Listen, people, about 250 of you here, and we aren't even on 100 likes. So that's actually embarrassing, guys. The like button is underneath your live chat. It's the only way this channel is going to get more people in. So the like button underneath your live chat, 250 people here, and we aren't even on 100 likes. So hit that like button. I don't want to have to do a demonstration. Mookie is saying, you purple guy. That's
me,
Nobbins.
I think.
Can I have those? I don't know, what does that mean?
That's my microphone. It's just watch a YouTube tutorial. That's all I did.
SM7B. Yeah, that's the mic. Yeah, for OBS or whatever. Cheers, everyone. So where can he watch it? Do you know?
I mean, it was ages ago when I did it. If you just like YouTube SM7B best settings, it's probably one of those. To be honest, there's nothing special.
Look how helpful Nobbins has been. This man has super chatted 5 bam. And you've not even given him a good realistic explanation.
I apologize. I don't have the fucking URL to hand, mate, with the footnote and the reference. I sincerely apologize for that. I'll do better next time. Oh yeah, guys, it's https:// youtube.com//s89312. Like,
you see, you forgot to watch because there's now a watch thing that goes afterwards. So
this guy, man, this guy, nothing is good enough. Nothing is good enough for this guy, man. I swear down.
I'm just trying to help Mookie. He's donated 5 bam. I just want to make sure that he gets the correct treatments.
Little swine. You're a swine in the group chat as well. Like I objectively proved to this man that Kevin De Bruyne is better at long shots and scoring long shot goals than Steven Gerrard, and he doesn't bother to engage with the conversation. And when he's proven wrong, he just ends it and goes, "Oh, blah, blah. Like, what's going on?"
No, you sat there and tried to plot ratios, but the only number that I saw was Gerrard has scored more long shots than De Bruyne, so Gerrard's better at long shots. But
that's not the conversation I want to have.
This guy, man,
guys. So the last part about the City thing, okay, before moving on, is Kevin De Bruyne comes back. Okay, I had this conversation with Hamza, and you guys know what we're talking about. He's talking about that Mohamed Salah is a level below Kevin De Bruyne. Does anybody here believe that?
No.
Nobody's you're thinking about it. You fraud. He's thinking about it.
They are, well, it depends. Is Salah
there's no level between them. There's no level between them.
Is Salah a level below Henry?
I think.
In your opinion, Mo?
Oh, here we go. The Liverpool agenda will shine through now.
If you say yes, then I will agree with you. It depends how we're defining levels.
In the Premier League, I think Salah actually, okay, numbers wise, individually, Henry is better than Salah by a very small margin, actually. Very, very small margin. Trophy-wise and leading the team and doing stuff, I think both did great. But because Salah won the Champions League and have 3 Champions League finals with Liverpool, I think he surpasses Henry in that matter. But I don't take in... So here is the argument. I don't take trophies as a measurement for an individual players because... So I think... For me, the best player to play in the Premier League I watched is Thierry Henry, in my opinion. Numbers say that, individuals say that. And then I think that one after, there is Mohamed Salah, there is Lampard, there is Kevin De Bruyne, there is Aguero as well, there is Rooney, of course. So I believe Thierry Henry is level above everybody else.
If you were to do a table one, if you were to like put everyone at table to where they sit in Premier League greatness, Salah sits at the table with Henry. Salah is at that level. Salah is going to surpass
That's
Henry's
where
numbers.
I will personally disagree. For me, Henry and De Bruyne are on their own. In this cafeteria, you've got Henry, you've got KDB. If we're expanding the leagues as well, Xavi and Iniesta are chilling there as well.
Hold on. Okay, don't talk about Xavi and Iniesta. I want to talk only about the Premier League. Let's not include Xavi and Iniesta because we're gonna have completely different opinions, and we're gonna segue into that and all. I
was just using them as a comparison
because everybody uses Xavi and Iniesta because they played under Pep Guardiola and Barcelona with Messi. But for me, I'm not gonna have this because I actually don't believe they are the GOAT midfielders at all, both of them, and I can argue this all day. But I don't want to go into this argument.
I can tell Moses is a Dan guy. I'm a
Pirlo guy.
Zidane's also at that table. He's eating his escargot.
For me, Pirlo is better than both of them. Maybe Iniesta comes close to him. Zidane is better than all of them as a midfielder, but they play different positions. But let's talk about the Premier League because this is the competition we're talking about.
So again, in this cafeteria, I've always had Henry basically on his own. Relatively recently, sort of like end of last season, I decided that for me, I was going to push him onto that table now with Henry. So he's moved off the table that Salah was on. He's now dining with Thierry, and on this table over here, I've got the likes of Mo Salah, Eden Hazard, etc. Still obviously world class players, but I think Salah's better than Hazard. Before
Can I ask
you have a go
why?
at me, Tom.
Can you explain to me why though? Why do you say is Kevin De Bruyne with Henry, but Salah is on a different table? It's a level below them. Is that what you're saying? So why? Based on what?
We're being very.
What? No, but you said a statement, and I want an explanation so I can debate it. Right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to answer. We and I are being very harsh with it's almost an impossible question because subjectivity is going to come into play, but I've maintained that De Bruyne is the greatest midfielder in Premier League history, having surpassed the likes of Steven Gerrard. If we're having a conversation about Liverpool players, I personally don't think that Salah is a greater player than Steven Gerrard. For example, people can disagree with that if they want. I personally don't have him as Liverpool's best player. I just think that obviously Mo Salah's hit a very high level. Of course he has. There shouldn't be seen as any disrespect towards him. I'm not going to... I don't know what the conversation was with Hamza yesterday, but I'm not going to disrespect him. He's a world-class player, and he has been, for me, the second best player in the Premier League since 2017, only behind De Bruyne. It's a very hard bar to reach. I just think De Bruyne's had the best season we've ever seen from a midfielder in Premier League history. I think it's the fact that in what is for me the best team that the Premier League's ever seen, it's the City Centurions. De Bruyne was the best player in the best team. So there's that fact. You can talk about individual accolades if you'd like. I personally don't know if I want to place too much value on that, but if you want to do that, he's been in he's been every single Premier League team of the season from the Centurions one, excluding the one where he was injured for half of it, for example. He was an instrumental player in City's treble and subsequent quintuple year. And even out, I know you just want to keep it about the Premier League, but I think that's actually doing Kevin De Bruyne a disservice, to be honest, because he's done it at Genk, he's done it at Werder Bremen, he's done it at Wolfsburg, and again, people can look at it's only the Bundesliga. It's Werder Bremen.
Can I go back to a statement you said? How come De Bruyne had the best season from a midfielder in the Premier League based on what? Why do you say that?
He did. He should have broken the assist record, but he had pages.
Okay, hold on. Guys. So don't tell me he should have. There is a player didn't do this. Why? I want to know this statement because I heard this statement for the third time now. Why? So, which season?
The 1920 season.
Because of what?
So in the year he didn't win the league.
What's that? Sorry.
Ironically, the year he didn't win the league.
Yes, indeed. So that was the season where he obviously won a Player of the Season in the Premier League. It was the season where he equaled Henry's assist record, and actually he should have broken it. But what actually happened was for some reason the Premier League decided to take one of the assists off him. But then when they rolled like a compilation, like when the Premier League official account released a video of his assists, the first one,
didn't he?
Yeah, the first clip they showed was the one that the Premier League took away from him. So he actually should have broken it. Yeah, again, like in what was for City that year, a relatively poor City team, like, we were nowhere near the title. He was by far and away the best player in the Premier League and City's best player. And I don't think that's a controversial statement. I don't think many people would disagree that was the greatest season by a midfielder in Premier League history. People might look at, Lampard in like the noughties for Chelsea, Yaya Toure in 13-14. But it's definitely for me quite. It's more than just the numbers. He did obviously get a lot of assists and goals. It's more than just the numbers. It's all about the performances. And look, I know Aguero.
I think that's
playing.
recency bias, because I think Frank Lampard, they won the league and he got double digits in both. One of them has 20 plus goals.
That's absolutely fine, but I'm not
for
necessarily
a midfielder. So hold on, for a midfielder to get, I think.
No, he got a lot. I think it's the record in Premier League things, but
for a midfielder. So if you break the record for a midfielder for the goals, okay, here we go. Here it is. Yes. So he had 22 goals and 16 assists still. 4 assists only behind Kevin De Bruyne, but 22 goals. I think that is a bigger achievement than having 20 assists and Kevin De Bruyne having 13 goals. See, we're not talking about abilities here. We're talking about purely numbers. And both helped the team win the league.
Why?
Because I believe that Frank Lampard, ability-wise, because of recency bias and the kids that didn't watch him, not you, they don't know that Frank Lampard was just more than goals. That's why he has a lot of seasons with double digits.
Whenever you bring it, whenever you bring that up,
because you're going to argue Steven Gerrard. I know that.
No.
I know that you're going to argue this.
No, but your point then was Frank Lampard was more than just goals. But whenever Frank Lampard is mentioned, the first thing
because he scored a lot of goals and nobody's
because he scored goals.
Yeah, but that's a mistake.
But then you can't lead with the goals and say he wasn't just goals.
So let me tell you. Do you know why? Do you know why that? Do you know why is that? Because he scored a lot of. When you score them, it's the same as Mohamed Salah. And I'm gonna come to Mohamed Salah because I want to talk about this. When Mohamed Salah is mentioned, the first thing that people mentioned is he's a goal scorer. Am I wrong? But Mohamed Salah's assist rate is actually not even half. It's more than half De Bruyne's assist rate per game. Has anybody thought about this? For the goal scorer Mohamed Salah is, can you imagine that numbers wise, Mohamed Salah with the bums of forwards, Kevin De Bruyne played with Aguero, played in the best manager to position players to score goals in the history of the Premier League, in my opinion. Kevin De Bruyne doesn't even have per game, and I'm not talking about because this guy played more minutes than that, double the numbers of Mohamed Salah. Has anybody thought about this? But Mohamed Salah, my point is, every time we mention Mohamed Salah, we mention what? Goals. But his assist numbers are actually crazy for someone who scores that many goals. I hope that equation makes sense to you.
I'm a bit concerned that this has not turned into a bait. This is just a battle of numbers. When I pushed you, Mo, and you said we're having a conversation about numbers, I never initiated that. I disagree.
No, because you said because when you tried to justify Kevin De Bruyne having the best season for the Premier League, you literally brought out numbers, not me. You said close to the numbers of Thierry Henry, not me. I didn't bring numbers.
But Matt, I think you're being a little bit disingenuous here. I used that as one example of many. At no point did I say the sole reason why he was the best is because he got the most assists and the numbers don't lie. That was one reason of many. He was objectively the best player in the league that season. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. It's more than just the numbers. And this is like a further point that I want to make, and so I don't want it to be a battle of numbers, because if you just look at the numbers, then you therefore have to conclude that Frank Lampard is better than someone like Iniesta, for example, which I think is a bit mad. You have to conclude that Lampard's better than Gerrard, Frank,
if I'm choosing a midfielder tomorrow for my team, if I'm a coach tomorrow, I'm definitely, if I'm choosing an 8, right, to play for my team, people think I'm crazy, right? But if you ask any coach, would you rather have a midfielder that might get you 200 goals or plus in your game and you play around that? You would definitely choose that midfielder. I would rather have both, of course, but Goals in the game is one of the hardest thing to do, and to do it from a midfield is very hard. But I don't want to turn this into Iniesta Lampard situation. That's just my opinion in football, because people argue Haaland score goals, well, isn't a good footballer, but then we argue for a striker because he only scores goals. But then we can't argue for a midfielder that score goal, which is harder than a forward.
Well, yeah, because the job of a striker is to score goals. Yeah. I'm going to give more weight to the person whose job it is.
For a midfielder to score goals.
No, it's not though. No, it's not though, because Lampard's system was set up for him to be arguably the chief goal scorer.
Everybody say all the time, but I watched Chelsea. Right, from the Mourinho time, and it wasn't made for him. It was made for the wingers to play good football. I think the forward, Didier Drogba, was great. When Kolo Touré was not Kolo Touré, what's his name? I can't remember. The Ivorian guy was there. It wasn't made for Lampard. But I don't want to turn this into, I want to actually, because they are in the same era, Mohamed Salah and Kevin De Bruyne, because this notion of Kevin De Bruyne is better. I'm saying Kevin De Bruyne is at the same table as Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah's ability is very underrated, right? The way he strikes the ball, the way he shoots. But sometimes he makes decisions that people think, yeah, you're not good on the eye. But footballers, as the word footballer is a job, is the one who plays football. Alisson is a footballer. Ederson is a footballer. So if you talk about the ability, Kevin De Bruyne is a better dribbler, has maybe more talent in some aspect. But Mohamed Salah has more talent than De Bruyne in other aspects, right? So we cannot just say De Bruyne is a better footballer. It depends how you define a footballer, right? I think Mohamed Salah has played in a team, and this is my opinion, it has nothing to do with numbers, have played in a team that isn't built around him. Jurgen Klopp didn't want Mohamed Salah when Mohamed Salah went on one season to break the record from the side. And anybody that argue, and I'm going to say that again, anybody that argue that that system was built for him, how can you convince me that the system is built for a guy that the coach didn't want him? So how is in the beginning of the season he built a system for this guy? No, this guy came in to the league, right? Proved himself, earned the starting position. Because I remember preseason, I was watching it with my friends, and people said Mohamed Salah wouldn't even start for Liverpool because people said he's coming from Roma, he wouldn't even start. So that season by itself is great. Mohamed Salah is the only player in the Premier League's history to get double digits goals and assists, right, in more than 80% of his seasons in the Premier League. 5 out of 6 seasons, and on course for the 7th, right? Mohamed Salah is way more fit than Kevin De Bruyne in terms of injuries, right? This is my opinion. I genuinely believe that Man City, and that's not taking anything away from the genius of Kevin De Bruyne. I love Kevin De Bruyne and I enjoy watching him, and I think it's at the same level as Salah. It's a conversation. But I wouldn't take that Kevin De Bruyne is higher than Mohamed Salah. Man City would have won 80% of the trophies they won without Kevin De Bruyne. The Champions League final against Inter proved that. The league that you won without Kevin De Bruyne being injured proved that. Liverpool, in my opinion, would not have won one trophy without Mohamed Salah. One in all of this.
I'm going to say some things now.
Right.
I don't like, look, no disrespect to Salah's numbers, output, even performances, fantastic. I don't like that we keep coming back to look at the numbers. Numbers are obviously very important. Obviously, that's what wins you games. But I'm sure Tom will agree. Like, Salah wasn't bad last season, but for the majority of it, there were times where he was poor. Let's be honest. For the majority of the season, in my opinion, certainly relative to what we expect from Salah, he was poor. But the fact of the matter is, he got a lot of goals and a lot of assists, sort of like from post-February onwards. Therefore, he got a lot of the numbers up. But in respect to the actual performances, and this is why I don't like talking about numbers, because numbers don't necessarily equal good performances. I would say, again, like last season, up until sort of like the final third, he wasn't that great. Just on De Bruyne, I wasn't able to touch on this before we got into the Lampard discussion. I don't like this myth that De Bruyne is only as good as De Bruyne is. First of all, it's irrelevant because it's a hypothetical and we're talking about reality. But I don't like this myth, and you said it, Mo, so I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to bring you up on it, you little fraudster, that De Bruyne is... I'm paraphrasing, apologies if I misquote, but the long and short of what you were saying was essentially that because Kevin De Bruyne is in a very, very good team, that's why he's able to put in these very, very good performances, etc. What I was going to say earlier was that, again, hypothetical, so largely irrelevant, but go look at the teams he was playing for prior to this. When he was like 19, 20 years old, playing in the Belgium league in Genk, he was getting, he was like contributing to their league title. And it's not like Genk are this behemoth in Belgium. They hadn't won the title for 9 years before De Bruyne became a starter for them. Werder Bremen were in a relegation battle, and he accounted for 2/5 of their goals in the league. So he was doing it for a relegation side in the Bundesliga, winning Young Player of the Year. He then goes to Wolfsburg, who have won one trophy in their history, one league title in like 2008, 2009 when Dzeko was there. Shout out Dzeko. They have since won a further 2 trophies. Both of those were when Kevin De Bruyne was there. He won Bundesliga Player of the Year at Wolfsburg. He broke the Bundesliga assist record. He did this in a league where Pep Guardiola was managing Bayern Munich. He won the Super Cup final against Pep Guardiola's Bayern Munich, getting the assist for the equaliser, then subsequently converting his penalty, and Wolfsburg won that match. Again, their 3rd trophy in their history. In the DFB Pokal final against Klopp's Dortmund, he scored the winning goal. So I'm not going to have it that De Bruyne is only successful because De Bruyne is surrounded by Aguero, David Silva, Who were these amazing players he had at Genk? Who were these amazing players he had at Werder Bremen? Who were these amazing players he had at Wolfsburg? They didn't exist. So it's just not, and again, no, we're not talking about Gerrard, but this is why it annoys me that, you know, when people say, "Oh, Gerrard's better because he can do what De Bruyne didn't do." It's absolutely fine if you want to argue Gerrard's better than De Bruyne. I don't have an issue with that personally. I do have an issue with that because I think it's a poor argument because it's hypothetical, so it can't be proved. But also, it's not even a hypothetical because the reality is right there. Even at City, I know the City are obviously a very good team. We all know how bad and inconsistent the likes of Sterling and Gabriel Jesus are in front of goal. We talk about De Bruyne having Aguero and Haaland. You're absolutely right. He only had Aguero for 3 or 4 seasons or full seasons anyway, because either injuries to Aguero or injuries to De Bruyne. He's obviously not had Haaland this season because he's been injured for half of it.
Yeah,
so
he hasn't played yet this season.
Exactly. But the point, so obviously he's been surrounded by very good players, but he's also been surrounded by players who are notorious for being bad finishers, and yet he's still able to put up these numbers if you want to make a numbers conversation, which I don't want to. But again, the main point there is look at what he did in Belgium for Genk. Look what he did in Germany twice. Young Player of the Year with Werder Bremen in a relegation team, by the way. Or a relegation battling team, sorry. I think they were like 3 or 4 points off getting relegated. And then the main one is Wolfsburg, though. Like, just ridiculous. Again, if he was doing it for Bayern Munich, in you know, because that was in Bayern's period of absolute dominance, then fine, you know, less impressive, whatever. He's doing it for Wolfsburg. They've as I say, they won one trophy one title in their history, and they've come runner-up once, and that was when De Bruyne was there. So he is a transformative player. It doesn't matter where he plays.
For Salah, 2 seasons in Italy, double digits, goals, assists, a player that didn't have. And I don't want to go there because I think I never said, right, that he didn't do anything before. He was fantastic at Wolves. There's a reason why City signed him. And there's a reason why at the end, the scouts of Liverpool said, I want to sign Mohamed Salah, not Julian Brandt, because I was watching him at Serie A. He was absolutely tearing it apart at Roma. And before that at Fiorentina when he was on loan. I think he was very, very good. The point is, City fans, City fans are very sensitive, not you, in the chat as well. When we say Kevin De Bruyne and Mohamed Salah are the best 2 players in this era, they say no. Kevin De Bruyne is better than Mohamed Salah. Even though they play in different teams, different systems.
I think both of those things can be true. I think Salah's.
But these are opinions, though. I actually think that Mohamed Salah, in my opinion, if I'm gonna edge one over the past 5-6 years without the trophies, because it's different. Because I believe this is where I think that Pep Guardiola is a better coach than Jurgen Klopp, and he wins more trophies than Jurgen Klopp. This is just my belief, personal, and I had this argument with a lot of people. And Man City probably is a better team and a better run club in general, right? That's why you won a lot of trophies, even though Liverpool lost the league twice by 1 point. It could have been the other way around. I will actually say that I would like to have both. But if I'm choosing one player over the past 6 years to play for my club, for me, I would definitely choose Mohamed Salah. If I'm offered the two players, I would actually, and that doesn't take away from Kevin De Bruyne's footballing ability, as people, this generation likes to put it, the footballing ability, which is called eye test or good on the eye, like Adel Tarat or like Hatem Ben Arafah or Riyad Mahrez, who is absolutely phenomenal. Like you guys talk about dribbling and being good on the eye and the cheeky here and there, which is, I think Mohamed Salah has a lot of it. That's why he scored against all the big teams, and the majority of the goals look very good, shooting wise, dribbling wise, crossing, cutting inside on the left foot. But that's my argument. But it's City fans who always argue that Kevin De Bruyne is better than Mohamed Salah. Is better than Mohamed Salah.
I do think he is better.
Which is your argument as well.
But that's not the same as De Bruyne is better, therefore Salah bad.
No. I know that you're not. I know you're saying Mohamed Salah is, for example, let's put it out of 100. You're saying Mohamed Salah is a 90% player. Kevin De Bruyne is 95. Same as Thierry Henry.
Yeah, sure.
This is what you're saying.
Yeah, and again, I'm totally willing to have my mind changed. There's no reason, like I didn't have Salah over Hazard until I think maybe end of last season, really, because I was waiting for it. I was waiting for a bit more before I committed myself, and now I'm happy to say, in my opinion, he is better. Again, if Salah stays for another year or two or whatever, or let's say he absolutely pops off next season in terms of performances, I'm totally willing to amend my classifications and pop him at the same table as, again, it's all subjective, in my opinion, Henry and De Bruyne. So it's not a case of I will never say that they are, at the same level. Because again, before last season, I was saying that they were at the same table. It's just that I've now been personally moved to push De Bruyne up a bit.
Because of last game? Because of the game against Newcastle?
It's not No, last season. I was saying this at the end of last season.
How come I'm sitting defending Salah and you're not? You are a fraud, Tom.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yes, Nobbins, of course.
I'm waiting to have my say, mate. You've been in there the whole time. I haven't had a moment.
And it was just, I don't even know what Tom's got to say. It was just like one thing I also just wanted to disagree with you on, Mo. That I didn't get a chance to. You brought up the whole like De Bruyne Champions League final situation. That's a bit of a pet peeve of mine, because I don't really know what people want him to do. Do they want him to not get a broken...
I don't want to do anything. I don't want him. And it's unfortunate.
It's
and
not
I feel
even
bad for him. But
it's not even necessarily aimed at you. I just know that a lot of people try to use that.
At me. You're actually accusing me here. You said I don't want to know what people, which is I'm the one who mentioned it. So you're actually accusing me. But my point of that was very simple. But you're not going to mention it. I will actually argue that.
I will.
You just accused me, Nobbins.
Okay, and
you
by
just
extension,
accused me, Nobbins.
Yes, and by extension, other people who maybe go a bit more gung ho than you do in respect of the injuries. People go, "Oh, he got injured." That's a little bit silly.
It's not his fault, though. It's not his fault.
I don't agree with the thing of. I'm getting round to the thing that you mentioned specifically. So don't worry, Mo. I've got receipts. Don't worry about it. Don't forget. But your point was essentially. I know you weren't talking about the injuries. I just wanted to do that as a wider point. Your point was that essentially City didn't need De Bruyne to win however many trophies that they did. I know you were specifically talking about the Champions League final. I would make the argument
there's another league that you won without Kevin De Bruyne being there in the last run.
Potentially, but he did come back for the second half of the season and he did contribute some important games and performances. City would not have been in that Champions League final against Inter without Kevin De Bruyne, without his equaliser at the Bernabeu, without his unbelievable performance against Real Madrid in the second leg. He without his goals against PSG when Pellegrini was the manager, we never would have got to our first semi-final. Without his contributions against PSG and Dortmund, we wouldn't have got to the Champions League final against Chelsea.
Again, though, but with Salah,
Tom comes in,
I can go for all this. I can go for all this with Salah, though. I can look at Salah
But no, that's fine, Tom. I wasn't even talking about Salah. I was just picking him up on a very specific De Bruyne point. I wasn't even talking about it in the vacuum of Salah.
Nobbins, it's a yes or no question. Do you believe City would have won 80% of the trophies if Kevin De Bruyne wasn't there? Of the one you won when he, like, over the past 5-6 years? Say yes or no question.
Definitely not. No. 100%
no.
no.
Okay. No. That's
for example, we don't win the treble without De Bruyne. No chance.
All right, then. Let me do the super chats because I'm sorry for the people because I'm late for the super chat. And I want the people in the chat to understand something. Us arguing, I don't think that...
I think we're debating. I don't even think it's an argument. I don't think we're debating.
Like, people think that, you are against City or Nobbins, you are against Liverpool or against Salah. Actually, no. I'm Egyptian, so definitely I'm leaning towards Salah, and I have to say that. I'm Egyptian. I'm leaning towards one of the best players to ever play for Egypt. I'm not a Liverpool fan. And I like both, but I'm leaning towards my guy, and I'm debating his side. I'm honest about this. Mohamed Salah is Egyptian, and I like him. City fans expect Liverpool to go like Arsenal and drop off. Who's to say that we will lose a single game left? City have Anfield and Tottenham away. So I want Tom to answer. Thank you, Jack, for the super chat. Tom, answer the first part. Should Liverpool fans expect Liverpool to win every game?
No,
because he's saying, who's to say that we will lose a single game left?
Both us and City are going to lose at least one game in the second half of the season. Let's not be mental now. The two best sides I saw from Liverpool and City were City in 17-18 and Liverpool in 18-19. Liverpool and City both dropped points in the second half of those seasons. Even if you want to go on for best second half of the season you've ever seen, us in 21-22 when we clawed back a 13-point gap, still dropped points in 3 games. You are going to drop points in games. It's mental to act like you're not. But the difference is, should we drop points in one game? I think this is what Jack's alluding to. Should we, let's say we've got Arsenal away and we draw that game, we're then not going to drop points in 4 of the next 5 games and then let City walk away with the title like certain man did last year. Yeah. We will drop points, then we will bounce back quickly and keep the pressure on. It's just who's going to drop more points. There is a 2-point difference now. And obviously the game at Anfield is the big, swinger in terms of that could change the direction of the title race. But I don't think it's that deep in the sense that if any Liverpool fan is going into the second half of the season expecting to win every game,
nobody. I don't think City are expecting to win every game. They might, but I don't think they are.
Because you've not just got 18 Premier League games, you've got Champions League, you've got FA Cup, you've got so many competitions that fatigue is going to play a part.
Rodri is on 7 yellows in this league, by the way. He's very likely to get 10, meaning he will miss 2 domestic games. Yeah, that's a big possibility, to be honest.
If Rodri could be a decent lad, if Rodri could be a good lad here and get that second yellow card against ideally against Bournemouth. Ideally against Bournemouth away, so he misses Man United at home. And then
shouldn't you want the challenge, Tom?
Shouldn't you want the challenge? Hold on.
No, I don't want the challenge. I want a league title.
Yeah. Do you think Man United going to Al Ittihad, it matters if Rodri's there or not? No,
because I'm just trying to look at.
If I look at it, I have to do the rest because I actually have to end this. I'm sorry. Let me do the rest.
There is a 2-game switch. You can either go
Tottenham away and Liverpool away. This is what you want.
But they don't play back to back, do they?
Play back to back.
We don't just get Liverpool. Don't get to sit there when he's got a 2-game ban and go, right, I want him banned for that one and that one, please. I've got to pick 2 games either way, so I can either go United at home or Brighton away. And I don't think Brighton away is a tough game this season for City. Brighton just open themselves up.
Brighton away is a tough game for anybody.
Not this season.
Ask City when Brighton went to the Etihad. It was a tough game. It wasn't an easy game. It wasn't. Brighton aren't an easy team. They aren't an easy team to beat. Tony Bloom is saying, Henry himself, by himself. I agree, Tony Bloom. Only CR7 and SP come close. Yes, but CR7 didn't stay a long time. I speak in the Premier League, even though he won the
peak discussion is a different conversation because then I'd also include Gareth Bale in there as well.
100%.
If
Peak,
you're
there's a lot of peak. Alan Shearer at peak when he like there's a lot of peaks out there.
Luis Suarez enters the peak discussion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't think peaks. Do we chuck defenders in that? Because then you got Van Dijk and Jaap Stam who had peaks that are comparable to a striker's peak in terms of dominance. So it's a very hard one to discuss.
Nobody comes close to R9 in terms of the best player to ever play football in the history, but it's not only about the peaks.
Did he play for Coventry or something? I don't know what Premier League team he played for.
Seen here is Sunderland. Oh, PSV. KDB is great, but nowhere near Xavi, Iniesta, Zidane for me. I wouldn't pull him above Cruz, Pirlo. Actually, Pirlo, people just don't understand. Pirlo is above Xavi and Iniesta for me. And I stated this 100 times, actually. Or Fabregas yet. Thierry Henry is on a table, Premier League-wise by himself. I agree with the statement. Thank you so much, Sin, for the super chat. I agree. Zynical is saying, GA isn't everything. Kevin has more footballing ability. Define footballing ability. Do you think... So I'm going to answer this once and for all about this footballing ability thing. Do we think that Kevin De Bruyne has more footballing ability than Alisson? Can someone answer this?
Well, yeah.
I don't know what footballing ability means. For me,
Thank you so much.
For me, footballing ability is how good you play on the pitch. I don't know how else you'd define it.
Allah, thank you so much. You're a lawyer, and you just proved it. Because a goalkeeper is a footballer. A goalkeeper is a footballer. A defender is a footballer. Maldini was a footballer as well. But his abilities are different than an attacker, than R9. Cristiano Ronaldo. You're talking dribbling, you're talking passing.
Ability discussion, because there's been good players in the past who have countless amounts of football ability, but just aren't very good at winning games and being a part
that's
of a
why we can't talk about ability, right?
If I look at Pippo Inzaghi was a shit footballer, bar being able to get in the box in the right positions.
This comment drives me nuts. No one disrespected KDB. Okay, hold on. I am debating that KDB is in the same table as Salah, and Man City fans don't want that. Not you, Nobbins. No, you're one of them. They want to say KDB is higher, but I'm the one who's disrespecting KDB, and you guys aren't the one disrespecting Mohamed Salah. So I want to put Mohamed Salah with KDB on the same table, but I'm the one disrespecting KDB. How is that make
sorry.
sense?
I can look at Salah, and I can go straight away if we want to do argument's sake. Mohamed Salah has carried shit Liverpool teams in comparison to the competition to points that they shouldn't have reached. Liverpool in 17-18, I believe, I've just done some quick research then, so if I'm wrong, I'm sure the comments will tell me, are the only team in the 21st century to enter the Champions League in the qualifying stage and reach the final in the same season. Mohamed Salah dragged that team to that. He was the best player in that team that season. He got 32 goals in the Premier League that year. He got 44 goals in all competitions that year. He got 16 assists in all competitions that year. He ended with 60 GA in 52 games. And I know that the whole, it's numbers. That's whether people like it or not, an attacker's job is to score goals and get assists. So I'm going to have a lot of weighting on how good are they in scoring goals and getting assists. Mohamed Salah has been the best and most consistent in the league at doing his job. For the people who sit there and go, oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And Henry, how do you compare it to Henry? By the end of next year, Mohamed Salah could have more assists. Bear in mind, I'm just going off Salah averages in his time in the Premier League. By the end of next year, Salah is on course to have more assists, more goals, more Player of the Years, the same amount of Golden Boots, more Playmaker awards, and should we get over the line this season, the exact same amount of Premier League titles. So, on an accolade basis, on a numbers basis, you can do it. Eye test for me is flawed because everyone looks at football differently. Everyone's eye test is different. I like a player you hate, therefore I'll put him higher. So eye test falls apart. I look at Salah and I go, there has not been a single player in the Premier League due to injuries, which, yes, I don't knock Kevin De Bruyne for it, but I then can't subtract away from Salah for it. Salah has been available at the top level, week in, week out, every single season for 7 years straight. He got told he was just a goal scorer, so he then became the most creative player in the league. He got told, he's an inside forward, so then he started creating from wide areas and being more of a traditional winger and still putting up the ridiculous numbers that he does. Mohamed Salah has led a team to a Champions League, scoring the opener in that final. Mohamed Salah has led a team that haven't won for 30 years, to a Premier League title. Mohamed Salah has won 3 golden boots as a wide player who was ridiculed and shot down for being crap, this, that, and the other. Mohamed Salah has done it in teams that are in conversations to be some of the best teams in Premier League history. And he's also done it in teams with centre-backs who can't even hack it in the fucking Scottish League. He's performed at that level every single time. And yes, last season was probably the worst season of his Liverpool career. And you know what? The moment that team found a little bit of shape and a little bit of cohesion, Mohamed Salah went on to get the most assists in the second most assists in the Premier League. Sorry, he didn't beat KDB. He went on to get the second most assists in the Premier League for 11 games straight, registering either a goal or assist as Liverpool very nearly clawed back and got top 4, despite the fact for the first half of that season, that team should have been 10th. Mohamed Salah, I don't know what argument there is to not put him at the same table as Kevin De Bruyne and Henry and players like that. He should be at the table. If you want to go, I think De Bruyne is better, that I will hear that, but not a full level above. Not a full level. It comes down to personal preference at that point. And for me, Mohamed Salah, over the past 7 years, sits neck and neck with KDB for just how good they've been. Neck and neck. And I don't believe there can be arguments against that, because you're just then discrediting the greatness that Mohamed Salah has provided. I feel a lot of disrespect that Salah's got is because, let's just knock him. Let's just knock him. I think Mohamed Salah has been genuinely one of the most disrespected players. And people saying, could say the same things about Aguero. I think Aguero is one of the best strikers the Premier League's ever seen.
100%. That's not even a question.
I'm not sitting there going, Aguero's crap. But Aguero is a ridiculous striker who injuries stopped us from seeing more of. But I look at what Salah did. For 4 years, Salah was told he wasn't the best player in this football club. But every single year, I believe he was the best attacker we had. If you want to say Van Dijk was better, then I'm sure. But I will never hear the argument that Sadio Mane was a better footballer than Mo Salah in any of those seasons.
Sadio Mane, he dribbles. He looks better on the eye. He runs better.
Sadio Mane could only do what he done because Salah does what he does. Salah has been... Arsenal fans this year crying about Saka getting double teamed. That's been happening to Salah since fucking 2018. And guess what? He's just gotten better and better. He's delved deeper into his bag and pulled out creativity. He's delved deeper into his bag and pulled out new aspects of his game. Salah has dragged good teams. He's dragged bad teams. There's not much more I can say about Salah. This isn't me... Again, this is like the thing. Just because I said I like Salah doesn't mean I hate De Bruyne. Salah, for me, has a resume which shows that he can do it at multiple sides, at multiple situations, in multiple environments. He's done it in some of the best teams. He's done it in some of the worst teams. And yes, he might not have elasticos and rainbow flicks and, whackers and stuff like that. I don't care. Because Mohamed Salah wins football matches. And whether people like it or not, we watch football because we support teams and we want our teams to win football matches.
Yep.
Mohamed Salah gives Liverpool Football Club the best chance of doing that. And he's done that for 7 years straight.
All right, thank you.
Let's respect him.
Yes. Okay, I want to do these super chats because I have to end the show and we haven't spoken about Ange at all, actually, at all. Nilo is saying, I need to report to Hussam that Tom didn't defend Mohamed Salah if you didn't like that monologue from Tom. He responded to you, but thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Tony Bloom is saying, who's better, Salah or Neymar? For me, Salah is better, but Neymar has better dribbling ability. Let's just put it this way. So Neymar has better dribbling ability, but if I'm choose a player, Mohamed Salah is, for me, very, very effective, Tony Bloom, in the Premier League. Listen, we have to end the show. I didn't get a chance to speak about Arsenal or Ange Postecoglou at all, but I just wanted to ask you simple questions, so I'm not lying in the title. Is Ange Postecoglou exposing managers in the Premier League by getting the Spurs without their first, to be honest, without their first team? Son is out, Madison is out, Bissouma's out, Sarr is out, Kulusevski's out yesterday. Do you think he's exposing the other managers, like the Ten Hags, like the Artetas, like the team, the managers, like the Pochettinos? Do you think he's exposing them quickly?
Yeah, 100%. Like, we kept getting told that, Ten Hag in his time and whereas Ange comes in with like what he'd say is like a worse squad or whatever, and immediately gets some things in the best football in the division. It's not just Ange either. Like De Zerbi at Brighton, at Unai, at Aston Villa. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Tom is muted for some reason.
Tom.
I don't know why. He dropped the mic.
Yeah, look at this. I look at it and go, Ange hasn't exposed anything. I knew they were frauds anyway, these managers that say they need time. Because I can go, not just now with Ange and De Zerbi, like Nobbins mentioned, I can go back in history. Pochettino got Spurs to title challenging within 2 years. Jurgen Klopp got Liverpool to Champions League finals and cup finals in his first year, and then got to a Champions League final in his third year. You know, there have been plenty of managers in the past who've come into sides and shown that they don't need 3 to 4 years. If you need 3 to 4 years, it's because you're not a very good manager. That's how I've always looked at it. Erik ten Hag, look at this. It's been a shambles for him because he's not even doing the right things. A 3 to 4 year project, and he doesn't even know where he wants to go with it. Arteta, that was always going to be a guinea pig thing, which was going to take time. Always was. But then I look at Ange Postecoglou and go, well, Ange has done it quicker, but a squad that was in probably not as much disarray, but still in a hell of a lot of disarray, losing their best player and captain. Like, come on. I like what Ange's doing. I think he's playing some good football, and I think he's opening people's eyes. And I hope that from this point, thank you, Hassam. I hope that from this point, from this point on, when it's being judged in the future, people actually recognise that managers needing 3 to 4 years and phase 4.5 of a project is bollocks.
Yeah, I actually think so. But listen, people, Nilot Palace saying, I sent the super chat before Tom's monologue, so he passed. Listen, people, this has been absolutely great show. Stay here. It will take you to Sava's channel where myself, Sava, and LB will be on the channel speaking about I don't know what, but it's going to be a fantastic show. Nobbins and Tom's channels are in the description. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And I want to turn the notification bell because today at 8 o'clock UK time, I'm doing the 10K celebration on this channel. Thank you for everybody that helped me. And thanks for Tom and Nobbins, of course, guys. Big up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Guys, hit that like button. Get us to 200 likes. You guys are embarrassing us. We are not even on 150 likes, so hit that like button. And people, thank you so much. And we are out of here, people.